Amna had grown old in a house she once filled with warmth. Every corner held a memory: fingerprints on the wall where her son had learned to walk, the kitchen where she had cooked countless meals, the doorway where she had waited late into the night for him to come home safely. Now, she lived in the same house, but it no longer felt like hers. It belonged to her son, Kamal, and she existed in it like an afterthought. Each morning, Amna woke before sunrise, her bones aching from years of work and sacrifice. She moved slowly, careful not to make noise, afraid that even the sound of her footsteps might irritate Kamal. She prepared his breakfast the way she always had: tea not too strong, bread warm just enough, but most days he barely looked at her. He would grab his cup, check his phone, and leave without a word. When she tried to speak, he often cut her off with impatience. "You worry too much," he would say sharply. Or worse, he would say nothing at all. Amna did not understand when everything had changed. She remembered Kamal as a child, how he used to run to her after school, how he cried when she fell ill once, begging God to make her better. She remembered skipping meals so he could eat, stitching his torn clothes late at night, standing in long lines so he could get admission to a good school. She had believed love was something that returned to you when you needed it most. Now, when her hands trembled as she poured tea, Kamal sighed loudly, as if her weakness was an inconvenience. When she forgot small things, he reminded her with irritation. "You're getting too old," he said once, not gently, not kindly. The word stayed with her long after he left the room. One afternoon, Amna dropped a glass while washing dishes. The sound shattered the silence, sharp and sudden. She froze, heart pounding. Kamal rushed in, his face dark with anger. "What's wrong with you?" he shouted. "I can't leave you alone for 5 minutes." Amna bent down slowly, her knees protesting, trying to gather the broken pieces with trembling fingers. "I'm sorry," she whispered, though she did not know what she was apologizing for. Kamal walked away, leaving her on the floor. That night, Amna sat alone in her small room, staring at the wall. Her eyes burned with unshed tears. She did not cry loudly. She had learned long ago that silence was safer. She thought of her late husband, of the life they had planned, of how they had believed their son would be their comfort in old age. Instead, she felt like a burden, something heavy Kamal had to carry unwillingly. Still, the next morning, she woke early. She made his tea. She folded his clothes. Love, she believed, did not disappear just because it was no longer returned, but something inside her grew tired. One evening, Kamal came home to find Amna sitting quietly in her chair by the window, her gaze fixed on the fading light. For the first time, he noticed how small she looked, how thin her hands had become. She did not ask him anything. She did not offer advice. She simply sat there, silent. That silence felt heavier than any argument. Days later, Amna fell ill. Her fever was high, her body weak. She lay in bed, struggling to breathe properly. Kamal noticed only when the house remained unusually quiet. When he entered her room and saw her condition, something shifted in his chest: fear, perhaps guilt. At the hospital, the doctor spoke gently but firmly. "She needs care," he said. "Not just medicine. She needs kindness." Kamal sat beside Amna's bed that night, watching her sleep. For the first time in years, he remembered the nights she had stayed awake for him, cooling his forehead when he was sick, whispering prayers for his safety. The memories came rushing back, painful and undeniable. When Amna woke, she saw Kamal sitting there, his eyes red. "I didn't mean to hurt you," he said quietly. Amna smiled weakly. "I know," she replied. She always knew. A mother always did, but something had changed, not just in him, but in her. She realized then that love did not mean accepting cruelty in silence. It meant dignity, too. From that day on, Kamal tried. He spoke more gently. He listened. And Amna, though still quiet, no longer apologized for simply existing, because growing old was not a failure, and a mother's love, though patient, deserved respect.